Thank you for tuning in to New York's favorite informational show, where we discuss current events and how they affect our everyday living. Over 154 million people in the United States and over 5 billion worldwide have taken the COVID-19 vaccines. The death rate is rising daily. What did they really put in us? Why did they lie to us? How do we get these nanoparticles out of our system? We want answers. Now, coming up next on Our Voice, hosted by Craig Richardson.
I'm sure you've heard the news. But what if I told you the real story is far more sinister than you ever imagined? From the depths of darkness, a demon emerges, its voice dripping with truths too terrifying to ignore. Kamala Harris, a figure cloaked in political ambition, stands accused of orchestrating a web of deceit within the deep state. Whispers of sinister alliances and clandestine operations echo through the halls of power. This is no mere political maneuvering. The Democratic Party's machinations reach into the very core of our society, fueled by an insidious agenda. Harris, with her polished facade, conceals a heart of darkness, manipulating the strings of control with unholy precision. The demon speaks, its revelations casting shadows on the very foundation of our beliefs. Beware, for the truth has been unveiled, and the ramifications are nothing short of apocalyptic. Stay vigilant. The deep state's secrets are out, and the reckoning is upon us.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hey, this is Craig Richardson with Our Voice. I'm back. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done something for Texas. We've been doing shows in New York, and so we've been dealing with a lot of different issues. I'll let you guys know more about where we're going in the future. Today is a day of information. We are in a place in this world that we really need to pay attention to what's going on, so we'll know the right moves that we need to make to protect ourselves, protect our family, protect our loved ones. Because at this moment here, there's so many distractions that's going on in this world. We can't seem to figure out what's what. So guess what? Today's show is to make clear what's going on, and not only what's going on, because most of what's going on is so negative. We want to talk about how we can fix some of the things that we're dealing with. I recently had a phone call from a young man, and after I posted some things about the vaccine, and far as that, after that, I got a phone call. He said, "Hey, man, look, my name is such and such. I got the vaccine. I took 2 of the vaccines, and then I had a heart attack. I never had issues with my heart. I never had any issues with my blood flow, my blood pressure, anything like that. But now I'm taking medication. I'm constantly having chest pains. All these things are going on. What do I do?" Guess what? I know he's not the only person that has those questions. So this show is dedicated on solutions. Everybody say solutions. Solutions. Okay. So today we are here with a good friend of mine, 2 good friends of mine, Tracy White, and then we have Lauren from Ohio. So we are going to talk about that. How you doing, Tracy?
Hey.
How you doing, Miss Lauren?
Very well, thank you. How about yourselves?
Blessed. So today we want to talk about some things that's going on in this world that we may not be kind of educated on, and we can live this life and just be in the darkness of what's going on behind the scenes. But we need to be educated. We need to know what's going on. We need to know how bad it really was, and we need to know, is there a way out of what we may have gotten into? Because we talked about earlier about the vaccines, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. When it comes down to, took this vaccine, and now we are having some heart issues, some blood pressure issues, blood clotting issues, all these strange issues that we didn't have before we took this vaccine, And so I think that this is the best panel to talk about this with, because so many people are asking me. So let's get to the nitty gritty, and let's talk about this. Tracy, tell us something.
Okay, well, my name is Tracy White, and I'm here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I have a podcast called Beyond the Bible, which I brought the other guest on, Lauren from Ohio. And because I had her on as a guest, I'm just going to go ahead and read her bio to you guys so your audience can get familiar with her, Craig. And then I'll just say a few things about myself. Lauren from Ohio is a wife and mother of 5 children between 17 and 33 years of age. She attended both public and private schools and graduated college with a bachelor's in science before switching to a business degree. She spent 9 years as a pharmaceutical sales representative for 2 companies. After having her first 2 children, she ceased working outside the home and became a full-time wife, mother, and a naturopathic doctor to manage the illnesses that she could not cure with pharmaceutical solutions. Lauren homeschooled all of her children. They own their own farm and apothecary, where as a family, they have over the years been successful in healing a multitude of clients in a myriad of elements to date. So that is Lauren from Ohio. So yes, and not just a myriad of diseases and different things, but that of the vaccine, COVID mRNA as well. And just a little bit about myself. Yes, I'm a minister, I'm a teacher, I'm an author. I got a couple of books out. You can go on Amazon and get those books. And like I said, I have a podcast, and I am very passionate about what's happening with this vaccine because they gave it to my mom, and my mom is dead not soon after they gave her the shot. And so this is very near and dear to my heart. My son has taken the vaccine, but I did the process that we're going to be talking about today of pulling all of that out of him. Okay. And so, Lauren, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm in the same boat. My and father-in-law's cousin took the shot. He was dead 5 days later. My Aunt Bibi, her niece, took the shot to keep her safe because of all the hype. They believed it. She went and did it. She gave my aunt the weaponized pathogen that killed her, and they refused to give her ivermectin when she was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Every day they said you need to be on a respirator. And of course, Bibi was talking. She didn't need to be on a respirator. She needed some ivermectin. Now, ivermectin will hold this weapon still. It will not remove it, but it will stop it from replicating, and you will have a fast recovery. Somebody that's blue going in there 3 hours later, it'll be like they never had anything wrong with them. So they know this. There were several African countries. The president of Haiti was killed, along with multiple presidents of African countries that refused to vaccinate their population. They use ivermectin twice a year. Subtropical diseases, malaria. They don't have cancer epidemic down there. They didn't have a COVID outbreak. So, but here's the trick. Ivermectin does not remove this weapon from the body. This is a bioweapon engineered by the Department of Defense in conjunction with Johns Hopkins University. If you want to look and see what the plan was, it's called SPARS, SPARS, 2025 to 2028. That's out of Johns Hopkins, and that's the drill manual for this event. This has been deployed on the people in order to destroy your health for their personal profit. And one of the videos that you have on your site at godnationfoundation.org is the David Martin interview. This is, you have a medical doctor who's also a statistician who's giving you all the information as to what is happening with these weapons and then the legal ramifications. So the gist of it is, we're under attack. This is a war. And this is what the Bible talks about. Beware pharmakia. He says, let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. Or excuse me, that's Hippocrates, Hippocratic oath. First of all, do no harm, but then let your food be your medicine be your food, and don't break the skin. So our whole notion of how to take care of health, when you go to the doctors in white coats that have been miseducated and lied to. So they're sincere. They're doing all they can, but they don't have a clue what is going on with regard to this. And one more thing to look at on the God Nation website is the mycoplasma paper, wherein they discuss the creation of this weapon. This paper is from 2001, and it's mycoplasma manufactured by Merck Sharp and Dohme. But it talks about who's involved: the NIH, National Institutes of Health, the Centers for Disease Control, the National Institutes of excuse me, I already said National Institutes of Health, but the CIA. This thing was built by the people you're going to defend you and keep you safe. So if you can't that part of it, you're gonna have trouble.
Yeah.
So right there, it says what Lauren just said. It kind of breaks a lot of this down as far as our trust factors. A lot of us are having a lot of people are having a hard time believing what we are telling them because they're stuck in a place where I trust my government. And so they can't wrap their mind around the notion that their government is working against them. And so I want to go to this video, and it kind of, Hollywood has always been known to go over movies as it relates to going through. And I don't know who, the X-Files, right?
Yeah.
We don't know. I don't know who produced it. Of course, no. Regardless,
Chris Carter.
What's the name?
Chris Carter.
Okay, so Chris Carter. This video would break down the concept. And I don't know what year this video was put out.
Yeah, X-Files, that show went off the air years ago. So this was years ago where they were disclosing their plan and all that stuff.
So, yeah, and so I think that when we see this, it can help us as a whole kind of see how the government can actually act in a way that we wouldn't be expecting. There's what I've learned in the last 4 or 5 years is that nothing is what I thought it was.
Right.
The only thing that's stable in my mind now from my youth is the power of Jesus Christ.
That's
Amen.
Right.
Everything else is out the window. Everything else that I thought, everything that I knew, everything. And so, and just to say this, when I started learning this stuff, fear did come upon me. And the way it came upon me, it wasn't fear for myself. It was fear for those who I love. Because I'm nosy, and I'm a researchy person. So me researching things, it opened up a bolt in me to say, hey, Craig, this is your purpose in life. Craig, this is why I made you. I need you to see what's going on. This is lights, camera, action on you, Craig. It's time that you start moving in the direction of the reason why I made your purpose. So that's where I'm at in this. But a lot of people, because they're not connected to their purpose, there's a fear about what's going on. So they don't want to hear it.
Right.
La 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 la. They don't want to hear it because it's scary, and it makes them have to rewire the wiring in their mind to understand what's going on and to accept what's going on, and then get to a point where you can start protecting yourself and your family. So that's one thing that I've learned, that why people get so angry. And I'm gonna just say this real quick. I had a pastor call me a week ago, and I posted something about Harris, and she said, "Why did you post that about her?" And I said, "Well, call me." So she called me, and the moment I started talking, she cut me off and cussed me out. This is a pastor. Praise the Lord. This is a pastor. This is one of the women that I grew up with in church. Mm-hmm. And she became literally demonified in her conversation. All I can hear is demons. And she was cussed. I can tell that she was biting her top lip when she was talking. I can hear it, how angry she was. I'm like, why are you so angry? Because you are supporting she said, well, she didn't say these words, a coochie grabber. She said something different. And I'm like, no, I'm not supporting anybody. I'm supporting the truth. That's it. So long story short, I've learned that people are not educated. They can't perceive what is going on. So they run from the truth and they create their own internal narrative. So this video in the X-Files, it really shows you the possibilities of what's going on now and literally what's going on right now.
Yes.
Amen. So Tracy, let's look at the video.
All righty. I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. Oh, okay, here we go.
Has been making claims.
Claims about what?
You and everyone you know has a piece of DNA in their genome, put there without your knowing it.
By whom?
Well, that's the question of the day.
This is an internet lunatic. You're not saying you believe him.
Hold on, Agent Einstein. You're talking to a scientist.
Forgive me, Assistant Director. It may sound insensitive, but the suggestion is pure science fiction.
What I'm saying, Agent Einstein, is that the facts, as I understand them, cannot be discounted out of hand.
No one has the right or the ability to tamper with your DNA.
Unless we gave them that ability.
And you say they're tampering with our DNA, that they're able to shut down our immune systems by the addition of something to our DNA.
Yes, but I don't know how exactly.
Or how it's being triggered.
I don't know that either.
Or why it's happening now. What can we possibly do?
We need to act quickly.
You were right about that.
Well, I was wrong about the science. I was wrong about what's causing it. Dead wrong, in fact.
But it's clearly a widespread failure of our immune system.
Through gene tampering. A virus within a virus that was put there through the smallpox vaccine. It's what these men are calling the Spartan virus.
We have to figure this out. What's wrong with the science?
Okay. The Spartan virus removes the adenosine deaminase gene from your DNA. Removes the ADA gene and your immune system will simply vanish.
Yeah, but I'm not getting sick.
It's only a matter of time.
Okay. So how does it work? How does the virus remove the ADA gene?
A process called CRISPR.
CRISPR-Cas9. RNA and a protein cutting genes at exact locations.
Exactly. But in this instance, used as a weapon.
The ultimate weapon. The ability to depopulate the planet. To kill everyone but the chosen.
By tampering with their DNA.
Through gene editing.
Why do such a thing and lie about it? Our own government.
Your own government lies as a matter of course, as a matter of policy. The Tuskegee experiments on black men in the 30s, Henrietta Lacks.
What are they trying to do?
That's the missing piece.
But it's not hard to imagine a government hiding, hoarding technology for 70 years at the expense of human life and the future of the planet. Driven not only by corporate greed, but a darker objective.
The takeover of America.
And then the world itself, by any means necessary, however violent, or cruel, or efficient. By severe drought, brought on by weather wars, conducted secretly using aerial contaminants and high-altitude electromagnetic waves. In a state of perpetual war, to create problem, reaction, solution scenarios to distract, enrage, and enslave American citizens at home. With tools like the Patriot Act and the National Defense Authorization Act, which abridge the Constitution in the name of national security. The militarization of police forces in cities across the U.S., the building of prison camps by the Federal Emergency Management Agency with no stated purpose, the corporate takeover of food and agriculture, pharmaceuticals and healthcare, even the military in clandestine agendas to fatten, dull, sicken, and control a populace already consumed by consumerism.
And I encourage you all to go shopping more.
A government that taps your phone, collects your data, and monitors your whereabouts with impunity. A government preparing to use that data against you when it strikes. And the final takeover begins.
The takeover of America.
By a well-oiled and well-armed multinational group of elites that will cull, kill, and subjugate.
Happening as we sit here.
It's happening all around us.
The other shoe waiting to drop.
It'll probably start on a Friday. The banks will announce a security action necessitating their computers to go offline all weekend.
Digital money will disappear.
They can just steal your money?
Followed by the detonation of strategic electromagnetic pulse bombs to knock out major grids.
What will seem like an attack on America by terrorists or Russia.
An invasion of the U.S.
The Russians tried it in 47.
Okay, see, they hit everything in that video. They hit the virus, they hit the DNA, they hit the digital money, they hit the staying at home, they hit the food, everything. They hit everything. That was a really good job.
Yeah, it was. And it was a blessing that someone found that, so you can kind of relate to it. And one thing I wanted to say before we went farther, this audience, I wanted to play that because once I saw it, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's everything we need to know. I want to let people know it's not about Harris and Trump. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where people are angry and they created a great situation for people's minds to go
to distract.
Yeah, and there's nothing that's not what's really going on right now. Those are not the people that we need to be concerned about. Mm-hmm. It's those who are pulling the puppet strings behind the scenes. And so my thing has been, I want to go to the person who's not as connected. That's all we have. That's the only choice we have when it comes down to, trying to pick a person that has our best at interest, at heart. And so, again, it's not about it's politics. We are in a situation of war, and we have to be proactive to save ourselves and save our family and save the ones that they can't protect themselves. That's where I'm at. So it's not people mad at me because, oh, he's a Trumper. Well, I'm nothing. I am a child of God. And all I know is this is what he prepared me for. I had dreams about this before I even know about a virus. Matter of fact, in 2019, I was live. I said, there's a shift coming, and it's not a shift that you all are gonna like. And then right after that, it's COVID hit. So that being said, we want to talk about the symptoms that people are having as it relations to them taking this shot or shots. One thing in particular that I noticed is that it was mainly 3 or 4 different companies, but the main 3 was Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
Johnson & Johnson was the only one that have the nanoparticle. The other 2 did. Now, the thing is, what symptoms are we dealing with this nanoparticle situation? What type of symptoms are people going through?
Go ahead, Lauren, because you've seen thousands of clients.
Yeah. Okay, so what's going on here? First off, we're fighting Satan. So if we cannot get away from black, white, rich, poor, young, old, Democrat, Republican, we're going to go down just like the Indians. Okay, feather, not dot. And you don't get treated real well. You see them in there on those reservations, right?
Yeah, right.
That's what they do with Americans, and they don't care if you're a white American, a black American, a yellow American. They don't care what color you are. You expect freedom. You expect not to be bossed around by the maids and the butlers who are supposed to be doing your bidding in terms of upholding and defending the Constitution. That's their only job. That they're behaving this way is our fault. We're allowing it. Same thing with our health. We're allowing it. So what happens is we're going to have to be like the Bereans and search out a matter for ourselves. We're going to have to seek the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. We're going to have to, Genesis 1:29, I have given you the herb and the seed thereof, and these shall be as meat for you. Now I'm going to lay out some evidence. There's a lot of information, again, on the GodNationFoundation.org site in order for you to understand. And you are going to have to take the time to understand what is happening around you. Now, you can choose not to. God gives you free will. But it's not somebody else's fault that you took these shots. It's your fault. You trusted men. God didn't tell you to trust anybody. He said, trust the truth. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And no man comes to the Father but by me. So it's your job to know the truth about how your body functions. It's your job to understand that the Satanists that are in charge, the Satanist pedophiles, including and Republicans that are running this country, importing the babies right now through the border and doing all manner of corruption. And it's right out there in front of God and everybody, and nobody wants to do a thing about it. Not Democrats, not Republicans. Well, they're not going to do anything about your health either, because those people they're bringing in here, they're your replacements. They're not getting the vaccines that aren't vaccines. This Ninth Circuit Court said that those shots were not vaccines, and they weren't. The Florida Surgeon General, Dr. Joseph Ladapo, Harvard MD, Harvard PhD, the Surgeon General of Florida said, if you took a COVID shot, you have altered your DNA and you are no longer what God created. The other thing is, he talks about the number of young men, Black men in particular, the increase in heart attacks, the increase in, myocarditis, okay? Dr. Peter McCullough, same thing on the myocarditis. It doesn't come from the infection, it comes from the shot. And once you've got it, 10%, I think it was 9.7% of the people who had it died. And so, this is a mass killing and culling of our population. So people have got to understand, you can't take things personally. You can't try to defend your position. God doesn't care about your position. He's not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should repent. If you are walking outside the way, if you are walking in the broad way, I trust the science. Oh, the doctors tell me what to do. The teachers tell me what to teach my children and how to raise my children. we're putting all our business out for third parties to run it. And then when we get it back broken, we're all surprised and confused. And so what's going to happen is we're going to change our approach to this. And I tell you what, and if you're blessed enough to be in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, Tracy's there and you can get a physical appointment with her. But here's the deal. You're going to have to clean the messes up that you've made. So let's talk about the way this weapon works. There's a paper called Mycoplasma, the linking pathogen in neurosystemic diseases. And it is on the website. And what it talks about is the creation of this weapon. So the original AIDS, anybody wonder where that came from? Well, I'm going to tell you. The pharmaceutical company Merck Sharp and Dohme manufactured it for the military. It was a combination of Brucella bacteria, which is cow arthritis, and Visna virus, which is sheep AIDS. They made a crystal, put it into a crystalline form, and they put it into mosquitoes and wafted it out over the population. There were your first cases of Epstein-Barr and chronic fatigue. That's what was going on. They were loading it up into vectors to spread it to you. Now, you could catch it open air, you could catch it, sex, swapping spit, anything where you're physically like that, but it takes too long. This thing, you have to have a weakened immune system for this thing to tear you up. So what they did, they went from AIDS in the 70s with the mycoplasma, then the mycoplasma in the 90s, which was the base, according to Dr. Shai-Ching Lo, the senior researcher at the Armed Forces Institute of Pathology, and one of America's top mycoplasma researchers. This disease agent causes many illnesses, including AIDS, cancer, chronic fatigue, Crohn's colitis, type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, Wegener's disease, and collagen vascular diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis and Alzheimer's. So what you see is this weapon that it basically damages the way your body chemistry works. The RNA portion of the COVID shot that they gave hacked into your cell, reprogrammed the cell to make a poison, a protein that is poison to your body. And you never can turn it off. They said, oh, we'll do this and we'll turn the immune system on. We'll train the immune system against this protein. The only problem is you never can turn off the cells that are producing this poison protein. Right. So what happens is your immune system fights and fights and fights, but it never stops. And so eventually your immune system runs down. This is called AIDS. And so what they did when they gave you COVID shots, they gave you what we call VAIDS, vaccine-induced AIDS. So what you've got is an immune system that's failing. So now you have turbo cancer. You have turbo Creutzfeldt-Jakob, mad cow. You have multi-organ failure. You have blood clots, amyloid plaque clots. You have heart attacks, strokes. And all these people that have continued to die, if you look at the statistics, the death rate, it continues to go up, even as people have ceased taking these shots. It's down to like 5 or 6% of people still, ignorant enough to continue to take these shots, but they shed. They can spread what's in the shot by touch, by breathing, the air that you're breathing. So what's happening is their shedding is affecting the people whose immune systems have been taken out by the shots they took 3 and 4 years ago. And then boom, you wake up dead. They just don't wake up. Finding dead young people on couches, turbo cancer in young teachers, young doctors, because they were all forced to take it. So what you're seeing is the consequence of poisoning our population. And when they do this, you have to eat the metals that they're spraying in the air, all of the pathogenic
metals.
They need those metals in the body, because here's how this works. You are a God machine. You are a beautiful creation that detoxifies that body every day. But if I put a bunch of metals in there and now your system doesn't work, all the stuff just sits in there, you can't get it out. And then I hit you with this shot, which destroys your immune system, which, and remember, these things can assemble into structures, into pathogens. I mean, they can turn this thing on with the 5G towers that they're putting everywhere. That is a weapons platform that was created in Israel, and it can't be used in Israel. Well, why the heck is it being used here? And so what they do is they talk to this weapon with the 5G, And among the studies that it's a video on the site, godnationfoundation.org, you will find it's a 2-year study, Moderna and Pfizer shot in distilled water over a 2-year period of time. The lead doctor's 38-year OBGYN, and what they found, they did the testing against regular room temperature, body temperature, no electromagnetic field, cell phone radiation. They broke it down into categories. And what you can do is literally look at the structures assembled under a stereo microscope. You can look and see. And the thing is, the faster, if it's up at body temperature, it grows faster. If it's got a Wi-Fi, electromagnetic energy running through it, it assembles faster. Because this is it's nano machinery made to overtake your body. And so you die expensively. All these diseases, the doctors, you go, they test, they can't figure it out, but you spend all your money, you're going to lose your house. Your children are going to inherit nothing. And they're making money all the way. And they, that's why I'm saying, once you understand it's a war, once you understand that when you're seeing strokes and heart attacks and, your 17-year-old son just didn't wake up, he was just dead in his bed. You need to start understanding this was done to you as an attack to depopulate the people that are here, that have an expectation of freedom, and that, understand that the government is our maids and butlers. That's who they are. They are not our bosses. We are the free kings, the children of the living God. And so we have that power, but they have broken the back of our country by taking away your faith in God. If you had faith in God, your fear would be short-lived. Fear is false evidence appearing real. And once you understand, yeah, they did this, but so what? I'll detox my body. I'll kill the pathogen, the weapon that they put in me, deactivate it, and I'll nourish my unit, and everything repairs. And that is how it is. That's the real world. But you've got to want to walk through that door and get there. You got to stop defending what you believe and stop defending people that, well, my friend's a doctor, my dad's a doctor, and he's a good person. I'm not talking about anybody's personality. I'm talking about the mechanics of what they've done. And by the way, there's an excellent book, Edward Dowd. The book is called Cause Unknown. It only has coroners and insurance actuary data in there. That's it. Just dead bodies. And that's it. No who did it, no why they do it.
No opinions, just the facts.
Just the facts. And you're looking at 25% of our workforce is now not working anymore. They're either dead or disabled. You've got 20 million people dead that they're admitting. I mean, you've got the VAERS, the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System data, and the hearings that were held in the Congress, and still no action. They admit the dead bodies and everybody, and this is the point. The reason that they continue to do what they do is because we continue to do what we do.
Exactly.
We hide, we ignore the truth. I call the new American ace arrogant, ignorant, and selfish. We are not experts. We are not the best at anything anymore. Well, we can go back to that. And in not very much time. This takes 30 days. You're going to know the difference. Your world will be different in 30 days. And that's what I'm talking about. We have the power. We just need to use it. We need to step into it. We need to remember who we are in Christ Jesus. And that's when this ends. Because remember, they tell you what they're doing. Because if you're dumb enough to let them do it after they tell you they're going to do it to you, it's fair. And so I really, it's fair. Everybody is not going to make it. That's what the word says. And that's, God's not a liar. Everybody's not going to make it. So you'd best
Craig, what was you about to say? Because I saw you look like you was about to say something.
Well,
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, she was talking about us being under attack. I want to talk about the different levels of attack because I really want people to understand that your world is shifted. You don't even know it. So I want them to know that. So I want to talk about a couple of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things real quick. Some short answers to these methods of attacks. There's many methods that we're under attack, and one of them is food. Tell me about food. How is food a part of the way that they're attacking us?
You know
Well, they're
what?
giving-
I sent you a video. My answer is going to be real short, but I sent you a video today, Craig. I didn't know if you've seen it, where it was showing all the fruits and how they're like plastic, like rubber. It was factories with the fake apples. They were spraying the red on the apples.
Oh,
So
yeah.
here's the thing about food and water. No matter what, that is an inroad to us because we got to eat and we got to drink. So they know that. So of course, Bill Gates bought up all the plant-based patents and buying up farms and all these different inroads to be able to get to us. So that's a definitely a war on our resources, on our food. But go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah.
Well, Henrietta Lacks was mentioned in the video, and I said, "Oh man, you know what that fake meat is, right? That's Henrietta Lacks's tumor, her immortal cell line tumors, and they throw it in a tub, make it hard, cut it up. That's what they're feeding these people, and now they're coming up with colon cancer. No, this is fair. They have been blowing up our food manufacturing plants. They have been burning up the cattle right there where you are, Tracy, Texas Panhandle, when they burned up all those cows.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, they're using microwave weapons to do this, just like they did in Hawaii, in Lahaina, and killed all those people. Well, Joe Biden, this is just funny. Joe Biden, he said, well, those houses, they burned up, but the one house
the blue top
had the right kind of roof.
Yeah. You got to fix that.
Blue does not burn.
Yeah.
In this, with the weapon that they're using. Well, this is the kind of stuff we're talking about. When you're burning down the chicken plants and flooding the farmland with sewage water or droughting the land. Right now, we're in a drought here. They have messed up the corn crop here in Ohio unless you had your stuff in early. Because, we've been 4 weeks, 6 weeks without rain. And so they know what they're doing. They can move the weather around, with the different systems, and it's the Gwen towers more so than the HARP. It's the Gwen towers where they can.
Well, hold on, Lauren, because he has 4 other points of a.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I keep doing that.
Because you might be going into another one with the weather, but so far as the food, I think.
Well, wait, and the last thing on the food, they're injecting the cattle with mRNA. They've been injecting the pigs. So if they can't get you to take the shot, they give it to the animal. It stays in the flesh. Then it hacks into your probiotics, your gut flora in your gut, and then trains those cells to produce a product that's harmful to you. Like
I remember when that was brought up into Congress about putting a ban on using mRNA in food products and meat, and one of the Democratic officials had said that this is wasting time. Why are we worried about putting mRNA in our meat and our food? That's not even on the table. That they can't do that. But at the same time, it tells you the mission behind all these different laws that's been changed. And I'm just at the point now, you got to understand that the stuff in our mouth, stuff we're giving our children, is actually a part of their plan that they devised for us to perish. So
there you go.
So the food, the water, got fluoride in the water, all this stuff going on with that. We're not paying attention to what's going on. Now, as far as schools, I want to just real quick talk about how they use schools to initiate their plan. What's going on with the schools?
She came to your school when she procures bids for ISU with construction and came to your school and spoke to your staff for 2 straight days. Why did she do that? This is why she did that. This is why she did that. To make sure that when our students want to know whether or not they have a vagina or a penis, they have pictures from your staff to be able to help them. They don't have enough sex. They don't have enough anal sex. They need adults to tell them how to masturbate. And what I call that is... So here's what I'm asking you. You have a hard time hearing this from me, but this is for 10 years old and up, and this bill was passed for 5-year-olds. And you have a hard time me sitting here telling you the words anal sex, masturbation. That's hard for you, or the time's up. Because
indoctrination centers in a
nutshell.
Nutshell. Because the stuff that they're doing in these schools, passing, I don't even want to call it a law, because it's little statutes that they're making for their own, school systems, to where you don't have to tell the parents. And then kids bringing different clothes to school so they could change into the identity that they decided that they were. Don't have to tell the parents. That is breaking up the nuclear family, because if you take my child and you tell my child I don't have to tell you anything.
Yeah.
Now you've created a different tier system of authority. A whole different system.
But there you go. But whose fault is it? Who's got the power? You have a choice whether you put your child in the care of a bunch of Satanists and perverts. Yeah. That's your choice.
And that's where the awareness comes in at, because till it got really big, a lot of parents had no idea that this was happening to their children. They had no idea.
But again, this is my point. This notion that you can go through life handing off your responsibilities to other people, and they're going to do as good a job as you would do. Well, what are you thinking?
That's why I homeschooled mine. That's why.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. They had my son was in gym class, and the gym teacher said, "Well, we're doing yoga today," and I had already taught my son, I don't want you doing all that stuff. They getting all them different poses and all this different. I said, that ain't for you. And he told the teacher, my mom said that I'm not to do yoga with the rest of the class. And he said, why? He said, because I'm a Christian. And then that gym teacher told my son, he said, I'm a Christian too, and your mom doesn't know what she's talking about. Wow. And when I tell y'all, I pulled him out. You're not going.
There you go.
I pulled him out. It was online school from that point on, because you're not going to challenge the authority that I have with my own child and tell my child, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And this is my point. We have all the power. I ran for state school board in Ohio, and that's when I went to those meetings for a year, and I figured out they were actually intentionally destroying the children's education. And now you're down to the point where they can't even write cursive. If you look at the international math and science tests, we are coming in the 40th positions for math.
Nor can they tell time with analogical clocks. Analog clocks, none of these kids don't know how to. It has to be digital, or they can't tell time with an analog clock. So it's not just it's all those things.
They said they were looking at some of these black doctors in California. I can't remember which school it was. I want to say Berkeley, but it was black doctors, and they let them in because they were black. These kids, they can't use a ruler. I mean, you are in trouble. If you go to these young doctors today, you are out of your mind, because they literally, number one, don't even know old traditional medicine. Like I'm 60. So, when I was 20 and doing medicine, it was still medicine. Okay. It was real. This stuff they're doing now, these kids, they don't even know. They got a Merck manual and a computer. And they're sitting there trying to plug and chug. Well, this might be that they don't have a clue what's going on. But the fact that you're going to take students and you're going to put them into a position because they're black instead of competent. This is where we are all the way through school.
Black people don't like to hear this.
Yeah, there's no truth
they don't
in
want
the
to hear it.
The word of God is not in the school. And all you'd need is the 10 Commandments. You don't even need the whole Bible. I mean, how hard is it? Don't steal, don't covet, don't, kill. What, it's not rocket science. I mean, shoot, but they don't want truth there. Those children are in that institution in order to learn to accept lies and to get along with liars.
And
they're there to be pressured
else.
to conform. And if you don't conform, you are put to the pain. Now, some people.
Lauren.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so schools was never, even before it got all bad, even when way back in the day when it was kind of okay,
it's not biblical.
Listen, it was still at its core meant to train your children to grow up and be somebody else's worker.
That's
never
right.
Entrepreneurship, anything like that. But let's
and to cherry pick the best of the brain.
Oh yeah.
Remember, they're cherry picking and taking the best
to run their corporations.
To run their satanic. Yes.
So what is your next point?
So the next question would be as relate to what they're using to attack us, and what you think about medicine. What's about the medicine that we're being served now?
Well, that's the mycoplasma paper that you'll find on the GodNationFoundation.org site, and it's 10 pages long. Read it. They're telling you we are causing every degenerative disease that is caused by mycoplasma. That one weapon, that's the thing that they made AIDS out of. Now that weapon has gone through a conversion in 2000, then it was SARS, 07, then MERS, and then the COVID shot. This is all a growth of the research on the same weapon. The weapon hacks into the DNA, into the center of the cell, hijacks the organelles in the cell, and tells it, I'm changing your programming. Now make this. And the thing that it makes is poison to you. Okay, so this is what's going on. That's why they're not worried about you suing or going to court. You won't live long enough to take it up in court. Those people they're bringing in are unvaxxed, huffing drug-resistant, TB, wet leprosy, measles strains you've never seen. And now you're going to bring this stuff in here and dump it on people. 82% of American people that took this have diminished immune systems they don't even know about till they break out with whatever the disease is. And so, yes, this is the plan. Depopulate, bring in your substitute people, and they'll be grateful to be here. And everybody that would sue or wants to complain, they'll be dead.
Yeah. And the last one would be, how are they using weather to attack us?
Well, let me say this right quick, because I experienced this, because everybody's seen chemtrails forever, and then chemtrails kind of just slow down. But when morning of the eclipse, when I went outside, I saw the chemtrails had started back up. I mean, the whole sky was crisscross. It was like blanketed out with chemtrails. Okay, this is the morning. Tulsa, the eclipse was hitting Tulsa about 1 p.m. that day. And so all that happened. And then 2 days later, my son was jacked up. My 19-year-old son, Silver, he was so messed up. He couldn't move. He was lethargic. He was in so much pain to where he told me, he said, Mom, it feels like something is pulling the skin off of my skull. That is the way he described it. He couldn't breathe. He said, I'm going to take a bath. He was just slumped over the tub. And since it was my son, even though I'm a master herbologist, I'm certified. I got all my, herbs and stuff from Lauren's Apothecary. I have resources here. I got the harmonic quad. I got I also got the zapper. I got all this equipment and herbs right here. And I couldn't think because my son was so messed up. I had to call Lauren. I said, and she said one word: aerosolized metals. They had been getting hit with so many clients because it had hit so many people at the same time, because once that eclipse happened and that stuff that they was doing for whatever agenda that they was trying to push, acting like the eclipse was going to be the end of the world and all that old crazy stuff that they was doing, they was pumping out a whole bunch more of all this stuff that's in the vaccine. They put it all into aerosolized metals. So even if you don't take the shot, even if you somehow don't eat the food, even if you don't drink the water, you're breathing. You're breathing. The metals are getting in anyhow. So go ahead, Lauren.
And it's not just metals.
Let me say this one thing right quick. When I called Lauren, she said, get his butt in that foot bath, detox him, zap him right away, pull it out. She said it's aerosolized metals. I detoxed him. And I put him on a regimen of the actual herbs that Lauren has formulated from her apothecary to take all these metals out. In 2 days, he was good.
Yep.
In 2 days, he was back at work. So yeah, it actually pulled it out of him, and he's good. So yeah, go ahead, Lauren.
Well, I was just say you might want to check out CIA Director John Brennan and his quote on the Strategic Aerosolization Project. That's his favorite. So yeah, they're moving the weather, but it's not just the HARP. Again, it's the Gwen towers. It's the ground wave emergency network that the military uses. They just jack up the frequency on those things. They can steer the storms. So you can draw water out. You can dump water in. You can flood. And they call this weather warfare. I don't know if you've ever say again.
No, I got you.
Yeah. It's weather warfare, and it's basically capitalism. They call it disaster capitalism. Remember several years ago they were going to have a disaster capital market, and they were like, well, that's just too obvious, isn't it? So they weren't allowed to do that. But this is what they do. You know, it's like they make the mess, and then you pay the money, and they have the stocks. And it's like the COVID thing. They owned all the mask companies. They owned the swab companies. They owned the, if you were smart, you were buying coroner stocks and anything to bury children in, and anything for, that's, but they own the companies, and they had stocked up their supply. It's kind of like with the attempted hit on Trump. And what did they find? They had shorts on Trump's stock that they had placed the day before.
Yeah, they had a whole plan for what they was going to do once he was dead. They had a whole plan worked out.
Well, they were going to just make a lot of money because they were betting that the stock would go down. And so, of course, it didn't, because he lived through it. But 2 weeks before that, they had, that's what I'm saying. If you can track the way they invest and the way they prepare, and know that this is all intentional. So if you can just get to the part where you understand these people don't mean you well, so you're going to have to fend for yourself. You're going to go 10 miles outside of town, and you're going to find a farmer that grows beef. I just put a half a beef in my freezer. You're going to learn how to grow bean sprouts on your windowsills if you live in an apartment. If you don't have dirt, you can go out and put something in the ground. But these are the kind of changes. We're going to have to go back to living the way God said live. He didn't tell us to go live in the cities. He told us to spread out. You see? So,
Lauren, let me ask you a question. You mentioned HARP earlier, right?
Yes.
What, we know what some things HARP is doing. You mentioned the towers, right? What about CERN? How does CERN play a part? Do you know anything about that?
So CERN, what they're trying to do is open a rift in the time-space continuum. They want to get into the other realm. So when you look at the Bible, it clearly describes, heaven, and then earth, and then what's below the earth. And this is set. You see what I'm saying? So what they want to do is bust through. Remember, we used to take nukes up and blow them up in the atmosphere, try to blow through.
Yeah.
Or in Antarctica, where they drill through, they keep trying to drill through the ice to get through. And Antarctica is the highest land on the planet, ice walls. And where they drill in, they'll walk out. And the next day, all of the equipment and everything is behind the ice wall. It is refurbished and rebuilt itself in the period of time. It takes them all this time to drill in. They walk out, and then the wall's there and all their equipment's on the other side. And so what it is this is God's planet. It's not, I don't know that it's a planet, so I'm not going to say that. But they lie about everything. I don't know what's true. What I do know is everything in the Bible is true.
Yeah.
And he told us how to manage our affairs, how to raise our children, keep them with you, teaching them the truth, morning, noon, and night. How to manage your health. Genesis 1:29. I've given you the herb and the seed thereof, and these shall be as meat for you. And Revelation 22:2, the leaves of the trees are for the healing of the nations. So he has a way to get our frequency where we need to restore our body. We have dove on into this pharmaceutical, petrochemical poison, the system for the appearance of health. It's not really health. And so there's your choice is the truth. Truth just is. It's not truth and justice. It's truth. Just is. That's the real thing. And the lie that Satan has for you is no thing. The truth is something. It's real. The lie is no thing. But if you believe it and comport your action with regard to the lie, you're still using real energy in this space and causing real damage. So the name of the game is our minds. It's an info war. It's a mind war. Yeah. And they wouldn't be doing all this propaganda. They wouldn't be buying up all this media. They wouldn't be, trying to control everything your children see on the internet, on the cell phone, on the, if it didn't work.
Yep.
It works. So the way that we handle this is, keep your money in your pocket. Quit paying taxes you don't know. You can talk to Tracy about that. She can give you some information that'll help you. Keep your children in your home. Educate them, teach them the truth. Stop obeying illegitimate authority. Why are you obeying people telling you to kill yourself, telling you to kill your child with vaccines or dumb them down, putting them in the schools, and most of it is because
them in the womb with abortion.
Absolutely, but they would have never learned that if they hadn't been in those schools.
Yep.
See, so this is our fault. We have all the, I'm so tired of hearing, blame this group or blame that group. It's nobody's fault but every man. The do evil in you, that's the devil. Who will you obey this day? That's what you got to decide. Are you going to believe and obey the word of God as written in the scriptures? Or are you going to listen to men? And, the devil kills you with pleasure. That's how it works. You're going to choose it. You choose it.
Okay,
and that's the yummy thing about it. I'll say this and shut up. The beautiful thing about all of this, when you opt and vaccinate your child and you give them mental retardation that they're calling autism, but that child's wrecked and now your marriage fails, because men tend to walk out when there's an injured child and you're here huffing and working and trying to take care of this damaged child, and your whole world, the devil loves that because you did it to yourself and you did it out of ignorance. God said, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." He said, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge." So I will encourage you people again who are listening, please educate yourself, because it's nobody's responsibility but yours. It is not so complicated that you can't understand it. And this is the change that you've been waiting for. I'm telling you.
Amen. Amen.
Yes,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I was so very sick. I mean, I had chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, frozen shoulder, blood vessels broken all the way up my legs and completely covering the top of my feet. That's the condition I was in after leaving the field, 10 years in the field selling 9 years selling pharmaceuticals. And I had picked up stealth infections that I didn't understand. This was before the COVID shot, but it's the same base weapon. It's the same base of the weapon. So the products Tracy has available for you, these things, I'm telling you what, you'll know your life is different in a week.
Yeah, well, that's what we're about to go into. So
solutions.
Yeah, solutions. So where we're at now is kind of went through the base of what we've been going through, some of the problems and some of the situations, the different forms of attacks, whether it's through our food, our water, education, medicine, weather. We talked about everything but immigration, but that's okay. So
talked about immigration with that replacement.
Yeah, we kind of hit on it a little bit earlier, but I want to, since we gave everyone all the gloom and doom stuff, which is so important to know, let's talk about the answer to the problem. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk about, because I know people are like, okay, so what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? You know, you got to listen. You got to go through all that to get to the end to get to the meat, because we want to make sure people understood the problem, because that's the problem. You don't know that you're in the problem.
There you go.
Why bring a solution to an unknown problem? That problem, you know. So we know there's a problem. We know that there's an attack upon people, and God's people are some of the main ones not paying attention. That they don't care about what's going on. That's them. That's not me. But it is you, because you took the shot. You got your children the shot. You did this and you did this, and that's okay, because we was misled. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, what do we do now? What do we do? So, again, we talked about all the issues, some of the things that we're struggling with as a people who's taking the shot. And even if they took the shot or didn't take the shot, they still need what you guys have. Man.
Yep.
So let the people know what the process is from getting detoxed from the vaccine, or just getting detoxed across the board.
Yeah,
so what's
from the
metals,
period, because the vaccine is constructed from these different metals. But I will say this just to preface and to piggyback what you were saying. I always tell people that the best prisons are the ones with glass walls. The prison that you don't know you're in. If you don't know you're in the prison, if you don't know you need the information, you don't seek it out, you don't research, you don't read. You know what they say about us Black people: if you want to hide something from a Black person, put it in a book. You know, now that's a bad indictment. Yeah, that's a bad indictment on us Black people.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So I'm gonna let Lauren explain the process, but I will say this: everything she's talking about, and she's mentioned GodNationFoundation.org, the website, because me and her have been compiling a resource library. She gives you could hear in her mind her capacity of accumulating knowledge and different things like that. And so she shoots me stuff all the time. So we're both compiling this resource library on GodNationFoundation.org. And it's all these different things that you could go on there and read. And a lot of them are videos as well. You could watch these videos. For you people who don't want to, or aren't even, maybe it's not that you don't want to, but maybe you don't know where to look and you're not good
And
at
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it right
so
there.
We have a curated site right there where you can get all this information. But go ahead, Lauren, with how the process works.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, this, like I said, if you are near Tulsa, Oklahoma, if you could drive 4 hours and get there 4 or 5 hours, honey, it's worth your time.
We're gonna bring her to Houston.
There you go. That's what you do. And I'll tell you what, I actually called a friend of mine, one of my doctors, because I was going to die and I knew it. And I just called to get help with my children because I had 5 children. My husband worked. I mean, what are we going to do with these children? She said, oh, shut up. She sent me what Tracy has. She sent it to me in the mail. Not even all what Tracy has, but just 2 things in this frequency machine that Tracy has. I did what she said. Honey, I called her back in 3 days. I said, I'm better. What are we doing? She said, we're going to school. So I had been in the house.
You became a naturopath.
That's right. That's totally changed my walk.
40 years ago.
Repentance. I had to repent. I had to humble myself. As a doctor, my dad was a heart surgeon. I worked in his office. I was a drug rep for 9 years. You get arrogant. You get thinking, I have the drug of choice for Lyme disease. I have the drug of choice. Look at me. And I'm sitting here thinking I was somebody until I almost died. And then you get humble. After you beg and plead enough from the pain. I mean, if you've had fibromyalgia, if you have chronic fatigue, you know what I'm talking about. And you cry, and this went on almost 9 months. Honey, in 3 days, my life changed. And so, and the thing is, if it hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't believe it either. I know it sounds crazy, but I know that it's true because I live it. And this is what we do with our clients. Like I said, we don't even, for the most part, test. If they have doctors and they want to test, I'm all for testing. But you don't need to. By the time you pay for the test, the stuff you bought takes care of everything, and you feel it. You're better. Your joints don't hurt. Your whatever's wrong isn't wrong anymore. And so, you can go get tests if you want. If you got money, if you got free insurance, hey, cool. But for the most part, this is about action. This is about the fruit. And the fruit is good when you do it Yahweh's way. So we have multiple products. First 2, Supertone and Metal Detox. The Supertone is going to tone your liver, clean your liver out. Gallstones, clean the gallbladder out. Now, it may not do everything, but it's going to do enough that you will see the shift. Your liver will start functioning properly. Your gallbladder will be cleaned out. If you've got small stones in there, those will get squeezed out. So if, say, you had digestive issues, you'd eat food, but it'd come back up on you. Or you eat greasy food and you just, it's terrible. Okay, that's because you're not getting bile coming out of your gallbladder. You got a blockage, you got stones, you got a lot of toxins. Nobody cleans themselves out in this country. Everybody used to do a spring cleaning, a spring detox, Beverly Hillbillies. You take the spring.
So on that note right there, let's talk about that. So what are we doing for the gallbladder? What process is this that we're talking about?
So this is the Supertone. This is the first step in the steps that you're going to take. So we have a program, and it's Supertone and Metal Detox. The Metal Detox is going to pull those metals. This Supertone is going to clean the liver, the gallbladder. It's like your oil filter for your car. You've got to change it, or the oil's black. Well, the liver filters your blood.
So let me preference what she is saying. There is a capsule regimen, a herb capsule regimen, and it's 9 times out of 10, it's like about 4 steps. Okay, and the first step is 2 different type of capsules. It's Supertone and Metal Detox. And that's the first step that she's talking about right now. And then you go to the next step and the next and the next. It's about 4 steps. And so she's telling you the different herbs that they formulated on their farm in their apothecary for those steps. So Supertone Metal Detox is the first step. And so she's explaining what it actually does. But
you'll be done with it in 6 days. You'll be done with it in 6 days. These formulas, okay, so we sell to doctors. Use these formulas with their, patients, clients, whatever they got. This stuff works fast. This is not the kind of thing where you get on it and you have to stay on it forever, or it takes months to work. It's not that. Now, the thing you will stay on are the vitamins, and stay on them for life. I'll tell you what, I don't miss them. If I miss them, that's when I get trouble. But when I don't miss them, I don't have a lot of trouble. I don't pick up, I don't get sick, I don't get nothing. Because if you have the nutrients, they call them essential vitamins and minerals, not for nothing. You have to have them. You are biting the dust of the earth. You know, Genesis.
So Lauren, we don't have a lot of time left because I know Craig said he wanted this to be a certain amount of time. So go to step 2.
Okay, so the next step. Okay, so the next step is pure cell and clean sweep. So we talked about how this, the weapons that they're using hack into the cells. The big white blood cells that come and do what they call phagocytosis. They surround the garbage, digest it, and take it out of the body. But the phagocyte, the big white cell, is bigger than the cell that it's got to go into to get this thing. And it's inside the cell. The white cell can't get in there. So we can't even see it. This weapon sits inside your cells. When you look at the mycoplasma paper, look at the top of the second page. And it talks about how the weapon works, how it breaks into the cell, sits there dormant for 10, 20, 30 years until a vaccine that doesn't take, or a car accident, you pop the crystal when your neck flips back, and now the thing starts sucking up the cholesterol inside the cell, in the cell that it's in. It sucks up all the cholesterol on the outside wall and makes copies of itself till it kills the cell. The cell breaks open, all those copies then go into other cells. Well, Puricell breaks a hole, it pops a hole in every cell in your body. It spits out everything that shouldn't be in that cell into the bloodstream, where the white blood cells can now eat it. And that's what happens.
Let me clarify. Lauren, let me clarify. So when you take the second step is Puricell and clean sweep.
Yes.
First step was supertone and metal detox. Second step is Puricell and clean sweep. And Puricell pierces the cell so the stuff inside of it can come out. And the clean sweep kills everything in the cell in the first place. So
the clean sweep kills everything in the body. Okay.
Yeah, everything that's not
except yeast. If you're yeasty, you might need yeast X. Okay, but yeah, basically, the clean sweep kills all the pathogenic infectious agents and
that's inside the cell.
Yeah, it makes it so that
cell pierces the cell so it can come out. So your white blood cells that are too big to get inside your cell can eat it up. And so now go to step 3, Lauren, and
okay, step 3
to the point.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Step 3 is Caldex. And Caldex, so what we have, one of the things that the 5G weapon does, it's going to make calcium leave the outside of the cell and float into the inside of the cell. You have calcium channels, and you're supposed to have the calcium on the outside, magnesium on the inside. When I hit you with this pulsed electromagnetic weapon, which is the 5G towers and cell phone radiation and EMF, now the blood-brain barrier is permeable, the cell walls are permeable, and you can flood these cells with calcium that shouldn't have it. So if it's in your blood vessels, they call it atherosclerosis. If it's in your, kidneys or in your heels, your ankles, bone spurs, heel spurs, kidney stones. Although the kidney stones could be struvite, they could be, other stone too. But my point is, the weaponized frequencies that they're using cause the body to precipitate out calcium and uric acid crystals. These are the two big ones. And what happens is when you get these stones stuck in a knee, stuck in a hip, stuck in your bladder, now you're peeing on yourself. Now you can't use your knee, So what we use the Caldex for is to dissolve those calcifications. It only takes a couple days. If you turn your neck and look over your shoulder and you can't look over your shoulder, it catches, or you can hear grinding, all that noise, that gravel, that's calcium deposition. So after you kill the things that would be depositing it, like spirochetes could be pooping the calcium, and that's why it's in that space. Well, they're dead now that you've done Puricell and clean sweep. So now you take Caldex, dissolve all that. So now you turn your neck, you can see over your shoulders, you can raise your arms above your, touch the ceiling. A lot of people can't do that. There's a hitch, there's a catch. That's the calcium.
Lauren, we're almost out of time because I know Craig said he wanted
to. Okay, and the last one is PMN Max. And now this is a big one. If you have peripheral neuropathy, you have numbness, tingling. This is step 4. A lot of people have the tingling in the fingers and the toes, and they say diabetic neuropathy. No. The other thing is the clots, the amyloid plaques. They keep putting you on blood thinners, heparin, warfarin, Coumadin. No, it's not going to work. Why doesn't it work? Because it's not a blood clot. A blood clot, if you grab it with a hemostat, with a pliers, a pincher thing, and you pulled it, it's like pulling jelly. it's going to fall apart. When you pull on these amyloid plaques, it's like pulling on a rubber band. This thing has tensile strength to it. This is what they've done is they've taken and put a pseudouridine into the clots. It's assembled in such a way that you can't break them down, not naturally. And the drug companies, what did they come out with? $250,000 for the amyloid plaque drug. And you have to stay on it or the plaques continue to assemble. Well, we use PMN Max. Once we kill those weapons, break those weapons down, detox the body, now we put on the PMN Max. If you've got numbness, tingling, fingers, toes, if you've got blood clots, amyloid plaque clots, narrowing of blood vessels, this is where you're finding the people dead in the bed. And it's because when you go into their bodies and look like at the interior of their vein, you'll find it's completely filled the space. When that last molecule goes into position, boom, no more blood flow, boom, you're dead. They find these young people dead in their bed. And who's good for this? Go on the GodNationFoundation.org and look up the John O'Looney. Any of the interviews with John O'Looney, or YouTube it, or whatever you got to do. This is a coroner out of England, UK. He worked for the coroner's office for 7 years. The man's, I can't remember, 20 years in the field. They're threatening them. They clean the bodies up so that he won't find the plaques in there when he gets them, because, they're doing autopsies and they're getting this information. And remember at the beginning of this, they were burning up all the bodies, so there wouldn't be any evidence. So this is a strategic, long-term plan. But see how easy it is for us to fix it. Get in touch with Tracy.
So those are the 4 steps. Now talk about the harmonic quad and the electromagnetic zapper, because those are the other 2 things that we do.
Okay, and so the herbs that we use. Yes, I'll do it fast. The herbs that we use, they operate basically on frequency. They produce, everything in the universe is vibrating, is moving, and has a frequency. So we have a machine that will put out all of the frequencies at the same time. So if you've ever heard of a Rife machine, you used to have to set those machines. You'd have to know what you were shooting at, set the correct frequency, and then, bang away. Plus they're super expensive. And, we have one, it's very inexpensive, relatively speaking. And we don't have that. She has it. Okay. But my point is, she's going to hit you with these frequencies that are going to kill everything in the body except what's in the digestive tract. The digestive tract is covered with mucus. That lining stops the frequency from penetrating into that tissue. Okay, so that's why the pills are on board. So you're going to take the pills, she's going to put you in the foot tub, she's going to zap you. That frequency is going to shatter the mycoplasma crystals, shatter crystalline. You notice they're talking about crystalline forms in the blood, in the body. If you look at the blood analysis, you'll see the crystals that are forming. Mad cow, that's crystals, crystalline formations in the brain. Okay, so what happens is all that shattered and the activity stops. Then you have the Magnazap. It also, if you have that red lead on the left foot, also heals tissue as you're killing pathogens. Then you have the North Magnetic Pulsar, which again, healthy tissue spins to the north, damaged tissue spins to the south. This forces a northern spin. So it actually decreases inflammation, stops the activity of infectious agents, and it can actually break through a cyst. So where you would, need one of the formulas called Digest Assist, if you had, a bunch of cysts in there where the pathogens had made a home for themselves. It's a hard shell. Well, the frequency machine, the zapper, won't go through that shell, but the pulsar will. So you can direct catapulse anything and, pound right through it. But the gist of it is these treatments, this method of caring for your health, working alongside God, don't fight him. Do what he says. If I've got a car and I want to put sugar in the gas tank, well, I can do it. I'm free, but it's not very good for the car. And so when I tell you that iatrogenocide is the #1 cause of death in this country, that's death by doctor. When you combine death by doctor with properly prescribed prescription medication, that is the #1 cause of death in this country. If you look at year 2020, the death rate actually went down. Why? Because January 2020, everybody stay home. Don't go to the doctors. They've got too many people. It's just terrible. Really, the hospitals were empty. They were doing, dance videos in there and, drinking and having sex because there was nobody in the hospital. This is like people telling me stuff like this. But the gist of it is the death rate went down. How come it went down? People stopped going to their doctors. They didn't take their baby for the well visit. And so people stopped dying. Well, when did the death rate go up again? It was like a hockey stick. It dipped down in 2020 when everybody was supposed to be dying from COVID. Then it popped back up in April of 2021. Why? Because they started the shots. The shots directly kill. Matter of fact, Dr. Peter McCullough has a study out. 74% of all the deaths were directly related or attributed to by the shot. And that study was on, I can't remember how many, it was thousands of people. It was a big study.
Lauren,
yeah,
because Lauren, because you'll spill out with information and you'll keep going. So I know Craig said he usually likes to go for about an hour and a few minutes. So Craig, what else did you want to say or?
Well, this is the thing. So what we're going to do is I would love to put you guys on like a radio podcast, because that and just let y'all just go and go and go and go. I think that would be an awesome thing.
Lauren's used to it. She's on radio all the time, so she's used to it.
Because that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing radio. So what we want to do is, now that we know that there is a solution, now that we know that God has not let his children turn his back on his children, that there is a way out of this. We want to present this process. So what I'm going to do is I'm creating a little web page, and that web page is going to have links to everyone that's here, how we put it together, and that way people can know, like, hey, you're not stuck with this. Like I said, I had the young guy call me and said he's a young African American that had 2 heart attacks. Another guy had a heart attack recently and never been sick a day in their life. And so now people are starting to waking up. Their families are waking up because they're dealing with their kids having heart attacks and everything. I did a news broadcast on Fox where we talked about giving kids the vaccine. I'm like, why would you give your child vaccine that we don't know what's going to happen 2 or 3 years from now? And lo and behold, the kids are dying. So again, I appreciate you guys for coming in and speaking out and being a voice for the people on Our Voice. And I thank you again. We're going to talk again, because I know after we air this, a lot of people are going to want to know more information about getting this stuff out of their system and helping their family and helping their communities. That's what this is all about. Yes. So we're going to have to put a plan together, guys, and because it's going to get busy, and we got to have a plan in place. Okay. So
I would like to just give parting words right quick, just to summarize. So guys, Lauren from Ohio is my source. I have an apothecary, God Nation Private Apothecary, GPA. When you go to my website, it's called godnationfoundation.org. You go to the GPA store, and when you go to that store, those capsules and pills, those resources are right there on there. For people who cannot get to me, you could go to the site and order. Okay, and it will do everything that needs to be done with that regimen that Lauren just explained, from step 1 to step 4. It'll take care of everything. If you can drive to me, or if you are close enough where I could drive to you, I can use the frequency machine on you, the harmonic quad, and it will be right away. You'll feel the difference right away. It will pull the metals out. It will dismantle the stuff. And so that's if you can get to me, or if I can get to you. So that's what I wanted you guys to know about that, just to, summarize that. GodNationFoundation.org. And all my information is on there, but I will be coming to Houston as soon as Craig gets me down there. I will be coming down there that way. So
you could bring the machine down there. Is it?
Oh yes.
Okay, so it's not no big bulky.
No, it's not the big giant wafer machine. It's a small machine that they're not even making any more of, because the guy is dead now. And then there's a handheld one that I use with the foot bath, with the harmonic quad, and then the foot bath with the electromagnetic pulsar. So I have things on me that I got from Lauren, and Lauren is who I get my capsules from their farm, from their apothecary. So she is my resource for everything that I have for the detoxing that I do. And she sets up in different states. So when people are too far from Ohio, if you're over here on the East Coast, go to this person. So I am one of the people that she trusts, that she set up. And I have like I said, I am a master herbalist certified in that as well. So I was already in this lane. And
Okay.
so, yeah.
So we'll do that. We'll set something up, because that's the whole purpose of this show, because I want you to come down here. And that way, Houston is a big city. It's not far from Dallas. You're not that far from Dallas either, I don't believe. But
I'm in Tulsa, so I'm 4 hours from Dallas, 8 hours from Houston.
Yeah, so Dallas right down the middle. So if we can get you down here, we can get Dallas down here. We can get 4 hours, just people around this area. And because we're in a triplex, so it's millions and millions of people in this plex that where we at. So let's make it happen. And Laura, I thank you so much for joining with us today. You were so informative, and I gotta get you back on. You got so much more. I can tell you got so much more to say. I just ran out of time.
Barely scratched the surface with Lauren.
I appreciate
That's why I kept rearing her back, or she would have kept. I know you would have done a certain time. Otherwise, I would have just Lauren, just go ahead.
Yeah. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. So
I just want to thank you guys real fast, because so many people won't touch these subjects. You are a blessing. This is your calling, and I just so appreciate you, because it's hard to watch all these people just dying and feeling like that. What are you gonna do? I've been kicked off radio shows. I've been banned. I've been threatened. If you talk about that again, you're never coming on this station again. It's terrible trying to figure out how to dance around and get this information out there. And here you guys are out there bold as lions bringing it out.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you, and I thank you. And whenever you want to do another, that I'll be available for you.
By the way, Lauren, that's one of my favorite scriptures. Paul said the righteous are bold as lions. Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
Here we go.
So again, I just want to close it off by thanking all the viewers that tuned in. Everybody that have questions, ask as many as you want, and we'll see you guys next week. Again, bless you. Thank you guys again for coming out. Talk to you guys soon. God bless you.